Chapter 12, Working in the Community. I love the story in your textbook about moving upstream. While walking along the banks of a river, a passerby notices someone in the water is drowning. After pulling the person ashore, the rescuer notices another person in the river is in need of help. Before long, the river is filled with drowning people, and more rescuers are required to assist the initial rescuer. Unfortunately, some people are not saved, and some people fall back into the river after they have been pulled ashore. At this time, one of the rescuers starts walking upstream. "Where are you going?" the other rescuers asked, disconcerted. The upstream rescuer replies, "I'm going upstream to see why so many people keep falling into the river." As it turns out, the bridge leading across the river upstream has a hole through which people are falling. The upstream rescuer realizes that fixing the hole in the bridge will prevent many people from ever falling into the river in the first place. Too often we pay primary attention to the interior world of the individual client without examining how the community and the system contribute to the client's problem. The aim of this chapter is to help you recognize how the external environment is affecting your clients. Definition of community: a number of people who share a distinct location, belief, interest, activity, or other characteristics that clearly identifies their commonality and differentiates them from those not sharing it. Examples are San Luis Obispo County community, the artistic community, the agricultural community, the Cuesta College community, the recovery community. The community approach focuses on changing environmental factors that create individual problems and tapping into the forces that can strengthen the entire community. A community approach requires helpers to design interventions that go beyond the office. Practitioners must remember that before people can be motivated toward growth and actualization, they must have their basic needs met. This is known as Maslow's hierarchy. An individual needs to have their needs for shelter, food, income, and basic needs met prior to being able to work on underlying issues. An example: people who are homeless or who are struggling to feed themselves and their children need to move out of crisis mode before they are likely to benefit from self-exploration and personal growth. This is known as stabilization first. Stabilization includes a whole spectrum of environmental factors such as housing, food, money, legal concerns, substance detoxification, medication management, child care, practical coping strategies, and social supports. Helpers function in an advocacy role when they use their skills in helping clients to effectively deal with institutional barriers that impede their personal, social, academic, or career goals. A shift in thinking towards client advocacy is slowly gaining recognition in the counseling profession. An example of this is a counselor who works with veterans who served in Iraq and Afghanistan may encourage the clients to join her in a public awareness campaign to educate the community about PTSD. This counselor is working as an advocate. Community change agents play an active role in creating community programs and agencies from the bottom up. The first step in becoming a community change agent is to become aware of the communities that touch your clients' lives. The main purpose of the community change is to foster healthy communities. A community change agent recognizes that healthy communities produce healthy people. Operating as a consultant, helpers can encourage individuals from diverse cultures to learn useful skills to interact successfully with various forces within their community. In this role, helpers and the client cooperate in addressing unhealthy forces within their community. The role of the advisor is similar to that of a consultant. It differs in that the community worker in this role initiates the discussion with clients about ways to deal with environmental problems that contribute to their personal problems. For example, recent immigrants may need advice on immigration paperwork, coping with problems they will face in the job market, problems with their children may encounter at schools. Helpers need to acquire knowledge about these topics and know when and where to refer clients for further assistance. Helpers can play an important role by encouraging clients to make full use of resources within their own communities, including community centers, churches, extended families, neighborhood social networks, friendship networks, and advocacy groups. Direct client services focuses on helping clients to face crisis or dealing with ongoing stressors that impair their coping ability. Indirect client services consists of client advocacy, which involves active intervention for and with an individual or a group. Helpers need to become advocates, speaking up on their client's behalf and actively intervening in their clients' situations. The goal of the community services approach, number 3 and number 4 above in the slide, is to educate the public and attempt to change the attitude of the community towards mental health programs. Direct community services in the form of preventive education are geared to the population at large. Because the emphasis is on prevention, these programs help people develop a wide range of competencies. Indirect community services are attempts to change the social environment to meet the needs of the population as a whole and are carried out usually by influencing public policy. The outreach approach differs from the traditional model used in the helping professions in the sense that the community worker does not wait for people to come to the office for help. The outreach worker goes out to the field to meet the client. Community workers need to be willing to learn from and with the community when organizing services, not just going in with what you think the community needs. Helpers who work in the community will be expected to develop the skills necessary to engage in outreach, provide education to community members, assume an advocacy role, and influence policymakers. These are some of the skills needed in order to maximize your efforts in the community. Some others are: listen as assertively as you speak. Commit yourself to learning about yourself, your community, your issue, your strategies, and tactics. Remember, it's not only they who need to change, but we who must also change what we are doing. Each of us has the power and the ability to make a difference